are delighted to play a video message from Mr. Kono Taro, Japan's Minister for Digital Transformation and Minister for Consumer Affairs and Food Safety.
Hello, my name is Kono Taro, Digital Transformation Minister of Japan. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you in Sydney Dialogue. We really appreciate. Well, we have seen so many visitors coming from Australia to Japan. In winter, so many are coming to Niseko and the vicinity for skiing. We saw many Australian people drawing cherry blossoms. So please come visit us more often. Well, those who have come to Japan noticed Japan is a society with cash. Well, in Australia, I heard in 2020, only 30% of transaction is done with cash. But at the same time, it's 70% in Japan. I think we are cash-loving people. But we are still trying to migrate onto cashless things. Well, Japan is lagging behind in digital transformation compared to other Asian countries or other G7 countries. During the COVID, the government of Japan is trying to give out 100,000 yen COVID benefit to every citizen in Japan. But the government had no system, no information. So we had to actually send paper form to every citizen asking their bank account number. And they manually have to fill out the application form and mail them back to the government. So in some places, it took 6 months to give out the benefit. So in order to make digital transformation, you actually have to make changes in the real world. In Japan, for more than 1,000 years, we used hanko or name stamp. It used to be official seal of warlord or people, but now it's just a stamp where you can go to 7-Eleven and pay less than $5 and buy it and you can put it on. So it has nothing to do with authentication. It's just a habit. But as long as you have to do that, you have to print things on paper and put the stamp on it. So a couple of years ago, I decided to get rid of it. So from the government procedures, I think we have been successfully got rid of using hanko or name stamp. Now I am fighting against fax machines. There are so many fax machines. I believe your ambassador to Tokyo, he has fax machine in his office, and we are trying to get rid of it. And then I'm also fighting against floppy disk. There are some regulations and laws in Japan that tell you for certain government procedures, application must be submitted in floppy disk. So you have to use it. It's crazy. So I'm trying to get rid of floppy disk. And then some public construction project ask you to provide a photo before and after the project. And some regulation says photo on color film. Where can you develop color film in Tokyo these days? That's the question. So in order to bring the society into digital era, we really need to change the real world. I told my team to go back till 1868, the year of major restoration, and identify every single laws and regulation that says you have to do things with analog technology like facsimile, paper, floppy disk, color film, whatnot. And we are getting rid of those laws and regulation. Well, there are 9,669 laws and regulation that we have so far identified. And it will probably take more than a year. By summer next year, hopefully, Japan will be free of analog technology. I think Japan was so good with analog technology, we are so used to it, and we failed to make necessary investment in digital technology. But now we are moving on to human-centric digital society. So what we are trying to do is anything that human beings don't have to do, I think we would like to delegate that to AI or robot or computer. And human beings need to concentrate on what human beings have to do. And that's what we are trying to do right now. So right now we are issuing national individual ID card. We call it My Number Card. It's a card with IC chip, and it will identify who you are online. It's an electronic certificate for online transaction. Now more than 75% of the Japanese people have this card, and we are trying to make almost all the government procedures can be done with smartphone and this My Number card. And we are even putting My Number card capability on cell phones starting from this May. So hopefully we can leapfrog into digital society. Well, this year we are hosting G7 meetings. I'm hosting G7 Digital Ministers meeting on April 29th and April 30th. Well, what we are trying to do is to operationalize DFFT, Data Free Flow with Trust. Well, now it's not just the goods and services that goes across the borders. Every day, so much data goes across the national borders. And without data transaction, it will be very difficult to have economic growth. A lot of our economy depend on data. But regulations on data transfer is increasing, and it's getting more complicated. Like in Europe, they put heavy emphasis on privacy with so-called the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So you have to be very careful with privacy and all those things. On the other hand, in the United States, it's just like a wild, wild west. Anything goes. So it will be very difficult to merge European rules and American rules. It's probably not going to be done near future. So what Japan is proposing is we are trying to establish an international organization with a secretariat. And this international organization wanted to do some concrete project to make data transfer easier. The first project is to set up global database on data transfer regulation. For example, European Union has EU regulation, and then each country has national regulation. And the national regulation has laws, guidelines, official Q&A, and in some country, the courts have some decisions. So if a small company in Australia or Japan wanted to do business, say in France, it would be very difficult to find out what you have to do to comply with data regulation in France. And it changes so frequently. So by setting up this global database on data transfer, SME in Australia or Japan or any country could find out exactly what you have to do if you want to do some business in Germany or Italy or New Zealand or Singapore. And then through API, we would like to update this database so we don't have to worry about hiring a legal firm with very high cost. The second project we would like to do with this international body is to create a regulatory sandbox. There are new emerging technologies, so-called PET, or privacy enhancing technologies. And there are a lot of them. So we need to find out if this certain technology will fulfill the regulation in your country or not. So we would like to get as many countries as possible to get together and create a sandbox where we can test this technology with your regulations. And if we can find out this technology comply with these regulations, then any member state could use these emerging technology for privacy enhancing technology. So that's the second project. Thirdly, now everyone's talking about AI and how are we going to feed data into AI, or what kind of data we are going to feed into AI matters a lot. So we would like to discuss rules and regulations on feeding data into AI so that we don't violate the privacy or basic human rights, and so on. So we wanted to set up this international organization with Secretariat. Well, I would like to propose that to G7 Digital Ministers meeting, and if we get it okayed, I would like to bring it up to the leadership meeting in Hiroshima. Then Japan is ready to make first funding to get the organization going. And the organization is not limited to G7. We definitely want Australia to be part of this organization, and it not just developed economy. We wanted to extend invitation to the global south. So we would like to create a better environment for better data transfer for the globe. So that's what we are looking at. There are a lot of things we need to do for digital transformation, but it is very interesting. I mean, technology is developing day by day. So in 2-3 years, our life can be drastically changed, hopefully for better. But, well, if you look at the internet, it used to be one internet. Now they call it splinternet because some authoritarian country wanted to build a wall around their cyberspace. So we need to figure out how to create cyber world which should be connected to common values. So like-minded country need to get together, and we need to include the global south for the better tomorrow. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I would like to come see you in person in the next occasion. Thank you very much for invitation.